Look, hey, today I want to talk about balls. You know, as I look out in the United States of America and around the world, it seems as if though we need some courage. Here in Valdosta, Georgia, do you not know that we have had 31 jail deaths from 94 to 2009 and from 2009 to 2013? We don't know how many people have died, so we can only guess 50, 60, or 100 people have died. Not the sheriff's department, elected officials, the governor of the state of Georgia, the secretary of state, the attorney general, the justice department, the president of the United States. Nobody's talking about it. It is as if though we don't have any courage. Can you imagine the Quitman 10+2 over in Brooks County, just 18 miles west of Valdosta, were arrested for alleged absentee voter fraud, and now nearly 3 years, the assistant attorney, Brad Shealy, was the president of the Brooks County Board of Education. David Miller, the district attorney, and others here in South Georgia are being questioned now by Patrick Davis out of Macon. Now, the news media here in Valdosta, the Valdosta Daily Times, the TV station and radio are ignoring the real beef, which was the foundation of this alleged investigation and voter fraud by the Quitman 10+2. Just the other day, I was called to Brooks County, and I found out that there was some irregularities in the jury pool makeup. In other words, I was told that the jury pool consists of 75% white and 25% black. Now we must understand Brooks County, first of all, in that Brooks County gave home to the Mary Turner lynching in May of 1918. Now what that means is that Brooks County and Quitman have a history along with Lowndes County. But it seems as if though the people have been driven so far down into the valley of fear until we will accept practically anything in this day and time. It is as if though we need to go off to see the wizard and find some courage in order for our sons and daughters to put forth the same enthusiasm in protecting their rights as they are willing to go to Vietnam, Kuwait, Panama, Germany, Russia, Korea, and other places to fight and die for this country, only to return home to watch their own rights dissolve in the cosmos. We need to take a trip off to see the wizard. But don't go to the Wizard of Oz. Don't go to the wizard, because we found out in that movie how that will end up. If we go off to forces outside of ourselves, trying to find the power of the courage we need, when we get there, we will find a curtain. And if any of us have the power to pull the strings of the curtain, we will see who are the orchestrators, probably even of the entire Quitman 10+2 arrest for alleged voter fraud, knowing, you see, somebody knew that that was the first time in Quitman and Brooks County history that black African Americans dominated the Brooks County Board of Education. That was the first time. So somebody undoubtedly didn't like that. It's much like Brian P. Kemp, the Secretary of State of the state of Georgia. I went to a meeting last year over in Quitman, and major problems was highlighted at this public meeting. But nobody said nothing. Nobody reported anything. The Quitman Free Press, established in 1876 or something like that, didn't say nothing about what was identified in that public meeting in the state of Georgia. That's right. Brian P. Kemp sent an investigator down to Brooks County, yet we don't know any results of that investigation that dealt with major problems in Brooks County Board of Election system. And so the question is, do we have what it takes? Do we have what it takes outside of dealing with the female body parts? Do we have what it takes? You who have served in the Marine Corps, in the United States Army, in the United States Navy, and in the United States Air Force, the Green Berets, the Special Forces, and others that we don't even know about. Do we have the equipment? Do we have the courage to deal with the female and how God made her to want certain things? Can we meet her needs? The Quitman 10+2 knew the history of Brooks County, but they had enough courage to challenge the system. Now, the reason they had to have the courage is because you must understand that Brooks County, my grandmother told me about the history of Brooks County. Even the name Brooks County, check the representative, the elected official who Brooks County is named after. Look at his history. Then go a few miles west of Brooks County to Nigger Branch and look at it. And ask somebody to tell you the history of Nigger Branch. My grandmama told me when I was a little boy, coming from Brooks County, that they lynched black African Americans in front of the same courthouse that the Quitman 10+2 will go to court on. Yeah, the same courthouse. My grandmama said they would put blacks on the back of the wagon and dump them in Nigger Branch. And some we could get out, some blacks could not. That's the history of Brooks County. And so when we see what's going on in Brooks County today, I think we need to go beyond the Quitman 10+2. We need to go back to May 1918 and uncover the 15 to 25 black African Americans that were lynched, burned, castrated, murdered by white mob members, and nothing has been done until this day about it. Now, the Quitman 10 was fully aware of this history because they are very intelligent people. They are the best citizens that Brooks County and Quitman have ever produced. And so they had enough courage to meet the needs of the children that they have produced. And future generations will produce. And so now, in conclusion, Brother Rhines, what are you really saying? I'm saying to you that there was an 1860 charter in Valdosta, Georgia. And it was displayed going into Judge Edwards' courtroom, municipal courtroom in Valdosta. And it had been there a long, long time. But let me tell you what happened when I saw it as a retired military veteran that served during the Vietnam era. I approached the mayor and council and asked them to remove that disgraceful charter. And did you not know that the prior mayor, John Freddy, didn't see nothing wrong with it? Do you not know there was a couple of whites on the Valdosta City Council that didn't see nothing wrong with that disgraceful charter? And it was removed reluctantly in 2004 because I asked for it to be removed. I told them that we were home to Moot Air Force Base, Valdosta State University, Georgia Wiregrass Technical College, Georgia Military College, Wild Adventures Theme Park, Francis Lake Golf Course, Kendaloo Golf Course, and many other beautiful historic monuments. Home of the Wildcats and the Lowndes County Vikings. In other words, we are Title Town, USA, but we are not only the title town of football. We hold the title in the state of Georgia for the most jail deaths. We hold the title for suppressing and abating the citizen. We hold the title of not getting contracts from the federal government under HUD. And then when we stand before the mayor and city manager and councilman and the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners, they act as if though we never existed. And so there is something wrong. But somebody in Valdosta and South Georgia in general must report the news. You all know few weeks ago, Reverend Floyd E. Rose stood at 3 meetings, public meetings, concerning the Valdosta City school system. And he talked about the disparity in how they don't hire blacks in the high echelons of the school board and the city council and law enforcement. He talked about all of this. And we have at least one newspaper, the Valdosta Daily Times, unlike America's Georgia, a little small town, much smaller than Valdosta, but they have 5 to 7 newspapers. And our newspaper is so conservative that when President Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States of America, the first black man that black folk was able to even vote for, and with black votes and white right votes, they elected him to office the first time and the second time. But in Thomasville, Georgia, in Madison, Florida, in Valdosta, Georgia, they didn't even put the picture of the president-elect on the front page of their newspapers. In fact, Valdosta Daily Times didn't even put a picture of the president in the newspaper at all on that day. Thomasville Times put a picture on the front page of Mitt Romney winning the state of Georgia. Yet our sons and daughters have put their lives on the line. Beyond black, beyond white, beyond Christian, beyond Muslim, beyond Jew, beyond heavyset, lightweight, tall, short, or other. We lay all of these things aside. But there are some of us, and some of you, who cannot get past the fact that Jesus said in St. John 8:32 that ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. Now you may ask me, Brother Ryan, why do you do what you do here in Valdosta and South Georgia? It is because my grandmama told me about the history of this God-forsaken place. And Valdosta is a beautiful place to live and raise your children. Reverend Floyd Rose perhaps said it best, that the civil rights movement didn't come through Valdosta and Lowndes County and South Georgia in general. Perhaps Joseph Lowry, a man that walked with Dr. King and suffered along with that great man, when he came down here following the death of Willie James Williams, he said that Valdosta, Brooks County, and South Georgia would be the next hub of the next civil rights movement. How did he know that? I don't know. But isn't it strange that with everything that's going on down here in South Georgia, you haven't heard nothing from Jesse L. Jackson? You haven't heard nothing from Al Sharpton? You haven't heard nothing from the giants in civil rights? You haven't heard nothing, for the most part, from women's rights groups or the Jews or white right people that much on a national level about all the problems that we are having here in South Georgia. The United States Department of Justice knows what's going on here. They haven't said, and Eric Holder knows, because we done sent him all kind of information, and they are still asking us for more information. What in the heck you want no information for, when all you have to do is ask the people? Come here and ask the people, those who are not afraid to tell the truth, because they have been marred and scarred because of when they try to stand up, they are shut and hushed up. And so what inspired me this morning to cut this video was I received the next video that I'm going to put behind this one, right, in a few minutes. I want you to watch this particular tape, my friend, Doc Robertson, we don't live in fear because we understand that we understand the Jesus, we understand the Muhammad, we understand the son of Amram and Yoshabel, Moses, that many of you dip in. When I say dip, that means you duplicate Jesus, you duplicate Muhammad, you duplicate Moses, and you duplicate Buddha. But I don't duplicate and I don't imitate. You duplicate, you imitate, and placate these most worthies according to your own understanding. But I want you to listen to my beautiful brother, Doc Robertson, with his balls. He gonna make a statement. Just taking care of a female is not good enough. The female body part was made for reproduction. That's all. It wasn't made for your pleasure. The female body part was made because God so ordained to be fruitful and multiply. And don't you lift yourself up and think that you are great because you can multiply. Do you not know that the squirrels, the dogs, the rabbits, the horses, the chicken, they all multiply? So don't look at yourself as being so big just because you got the anatomy that you have. But the question is, what will you stand up for and what are you willing to die for? Are you willing to die that others may live? So I know where I am today because I'm standing on the shoulder of Noah Drew Ali. I'm standing on the shoulders of my beautiful brother, Nat Turner. On the shoulders of whites, right people who knew what it meant to be free. And they knew the power of truth. And so now let me tell you this as I close. We got to have the truth. And you can't speak truth unless you got some power. I'm not talking about power to take a woman in the bedroom. I'm not talking about a power that will make you go to church every Sunday or on the Sabbath and holler hallelujah and hallelujah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a God. I'm talking about a power that will make you stand up, upright, on the square, and erect yourself in the midst of devils like a plumb line, the plumb line of justice. Now look, the Quitman 10+2 thought they were going to court on Monday. Something happened, and there will not be a court case. And you have seen me plaster it all over the internet because the South Georgia news media still haven't said nothing about it. And we're going to continue to stay the course with the help of Patrick Davis and the Examiner out of Macon, Georgia. We are living at a time now when we got to have the truth because the forces of Satan, and I do mean the forces of Satan because I'm going to break it down for you. Anybody that suppress, control, and abate the news is no friend of God. Now let me tell you and quote that 1860 charter that was removed, and then we're going to hear what Doc Robertson got to say. That disgraceful charter said, before they reluctantly removed it in 2004, said that in section 100, paragraph 11, that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to suppress and abate all nuisances arriving from hogs, dogs, horses, and other animals straying at large in Valdosta. Can you imagine a sitting mayor not seeing anything wrong with that when we got people at Moody Air Force Base just 9 miles out of the city limit and they don't see nothing wrong with that? In 2004, we give home to Valdosta Wiregrass Technical College, Valdosta State University, Georgia Military College. People come from around the United States of America and from overseas. And for them to see that disgraceful charter, how do you think that makes us look? How did that make us look? I'm talking about black folk, I'm talking about us who are from the South. This is supposed to be the new South. In addition to that, what about we as a people talking about we love Jesus, we love Muhammad, and we love Moses, but can't stand up for what is right in God's word? Can you imagine 31 jail deaths, many of whom were military veterans, Yet we hear people lie to us and tell us they love the veterans. We hear our representatives, we hear our senators talk about they love the veterans. If you love the veterans, somebody would investigate. Why we are leading this state of Georgia in jail there? The women over there in the old jail say they're living in a jail where they got rats as big as cats. You've seen that on these videos. But yet nobody want to talk about it. Nobody want to talk about it. Can you imagine the South Georgia Regional Library got an 8-foot by 4 feet oblong square for the news media and TV station to get in at a public meeting to record because they don't want you there in the first place. Both public meetings, the city and the county, got people to be heard. Listen, world, listen, America. Have citizens be heard at the end of the agenda right before adjournment. That means the people that you vote in office have voted you out of the process. Listen, the people you voted for voted you out of the process, so you can't even address them, that you are not permitted to call their name. They are not permitted to answer you at a public meeting for the question that you have here in South Georgia, in Valdosta and Lowndes County, home of Moody Air Force Base, and guess what? They don't want you to talk about it. And when you bring it up at meetings like the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, they won't publish it. The TV stations won't publish it. The Valdosta Daily Times ignore it as if though a tree fell in the forest. And then they tell you that there is no forest. When we live in the forest, we know about it. And so we go to the city manager, we talk about the HUD dollars, we talk about the Department of Transportation, G.B.R, and how black African Americans and poor white folk don't get none of this money. And we're going to continue to say it, and we're going to keep it in your face. Now, my friend, Doc Robinson got some words to say about you, about me, and the rest of us. Let us listen to my beautiful brother, Doc Robinson. Today is your day. April the 6th, 2013. What say you, the American people? Ask yourself, where are the civil rights leaders? Where are the followers of Jesus? Where are the followers of Allah? Where are the followers of the son of Amram and Yoshebel Moses, who say they love Jesus, who say they want to go to heaven and sit down with the angels around the throne of God, but don't have enough courage to stand up? I think Doc Robinson gonna tell us about having a little courage today. Let's listen to Doc.